Hello and welcome, lovely people. This is Luta again, and today we are making two types of loaves, that is wholemeal and white bread. So we begin with the wholemeal, and that is 2 cups of whole wheat flour, and we have there half a cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of oil. I have a mixture of nuts and raisins there, 1 egg. I have some oats. I have a packet of active yeast that is fast acting, and that's 7 grams of it. And I have some egg white. I also have a glass of milk, or rather a cup of milk, and I've inserted a probe thermometer just to check the temperature. And why I'm sensitive about my temperature today is because I'll be mixing the yeast into the flour, and I need some hot milk, at least 120 to 130 degrees. And so I need some hot milk to activate the yeast into the flour. And why I'm doing this, why I'm mixing everything, is just to make the process faster and easier. And so we are going to make these loaves in about 90 minutes from start to finish. And so I'm mixing the flour, the sugar, the yeast, and then the wet ingredients, that is the egg, the oil, and the milk together. And I will use a hand mixer just to combine, and I will mix just until it's well combined, and then I will knead with my hands. The nuts and oats I'm keeping aside until when I need to use them, and I'll show you just when that is. So I'm using the hand mixer just until everything combines together. Although you can still use your hands for this process, or you can use a stand mixer. And if you're using a stand mixer, do this for 1 minute to 2 minutes. It will combine so much better. And then when you're kneading, when you're bringing the flour together with your hands, you won't have to do so many folds. And by folds, I'll show you what I mean. But if you're using a stand mixer, you won't have to mix for long, and you won't have to also knead for long with your hands. And so I just want to transfer my dough onto the surface, and I want to scrape everything onto the surface, and then I will start kneading. And if you've used a hand mixer or you're using your hands, you should knead or fold the bread for 150 times. I don't usually count. I just knead until I feel like the dough is ready, because as you're kneading, you will notice it coming together and softening, and then you won't see any specks of yeast, and you will know it's ready. So it's a bit sticky now, and so I will just roll it like that and then start folding together just like a puff pastry. So you're supposed to do that for 150 times, but I will be doing some stretching once the dough comes together. And at this point, because it's still sticky, I'm using a lot of flour on the surface and on the dough. So you keep folding like that, folding and turning, and then you're doing this especially because it is whole wheat. If it was all-purpose flour or white flour for bread, you would have to stretch it from the beginning. So it's coming together, and now you can see me stretching a little, and I'll keep doing that until it's well combined, getting softer and coming together nicely. So you can see the changes happening. Although I'm adding flour, you can see the dough is coming together, getting softer, and even looking a bit oily, just a bit, like it's shining a bit. And I'm getting ready. This has been going on for a while, and I'm getting ready to set it aside so it can proof. Looks good, and I'm going to put it back into the bowl and cover it so it can proof. All right, and so I'm starting with the white loaf, and this time I'm going to knead it on the surface. I'll mix and knead it on the surface. So I'm using the very same ingredients except for the flour. So 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. That is what you need for flour. And then I will add the other ingredients, and this will be 7 grams of yeast, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a bit of salt, 2 tablespoons of oil, and then a cup of milk at 120 to 130 degrees. So I'm just combining my flour with the other ingredients, with the other dry ingredients, and then I will add the wet ingredients. So bread making is fairly easy, but you have to practice a lot and get the ingredients right, get the temperature of the liquids right, and you'll be good to go. I like kneading on the surface because it's much faster unless I'm using an electric beater of any kind. So you can see how the stretching is going. You stretch and bring it back together. It forms some sort of a log shape. So once it does that, you turn it to the other side and do the same thing. So this goes on for quite a while, and that is why I'm putting the video on speed, but you can see the technique I'm using. Just stretch, stretch, pull and stretch, and then you bring it back together in a log shape. Keep doing that, and as you do it, the dough is softening, and now it's ready to be set aside for proofing. And now I have my proofing dough. It's been proofing for about 45 minutes in a warm area. Sometimes in a very cold place like this, I will have my oven. I will set my oven to about 100 degrees, just warm, and just put the bread in. But you have to be very careful with the temperature so that it doesn't cook. But if it's in a warm place, just room temperature is good enough to have it proofing. I like how much it has proofed. It's really good, it's really soft, and this time you don't have to knead. You just press it with your fingers until it is flat, and then I'm going to add in my nuts, my oats, and my fruit. And with this loaf, you really don't have to do that. I just wanted to put something extra for fun. So there I go with my oats, and I don't show it here, but you can use the egg white on the surface before you add the nuts, and this will have them like sticking on the dough better. And then on top of the loaf, once you roll out like this, and this is what you do to make your loaf, you roll it like that, and then you tuck it in on the sides, and then you place it in a tin, and then you will have it proofing for a further 30 to 40 minutes until it is risen way on top of the tin. I will show you in a photo, but you see from that level it has to rise well above the tin, about an inch from the tin, before you start baking it in the oven. And so I'm just adding my oats there, but it's best if you coat the dough with some egg white before you add any toppings. Otherwise they will all fall off once it's baked. And so you have to cover the tin again with some cling film and leave it to proof. And then when it's really proofing, you have to remove the cover and let it proof a little longer without the cling film covering. So you're doing the same with the white loaf. No kneading, no rolling. You just use your hands to stretch it out like that. Just use your hands. At this point, it's really soft. And with this process, we didn't even have to knock back. And knocking back is just removing all the air that has accumulated. But once you stretch it with your hands like that, the air will all come out. And then you repeat the same process. Put any toppings that you want. And then you roll the dough and put in a tin. So I'm putting more nuts in the white loaf than the brown one. So I have some sliced almonds there, I have some peanuts, I have some oats and some dry fruit, raisins. And these are totally optional. If you want your bread just plain white or plain brown, you can do that by all means. Here we go, you have it in the tin. You can egg wash and then add any toppings of your liking. But I did not do that here, and that is why I showed the egg white, so you can use it if you prefer. Because otherwise the oats won't stick on it. I just skipped that step. Okay, so now it's been proofing. I actually put some hot water under and it's been proofing for a while. That's how it looks at this point. You have to let it proof some more, just a little more. And this ready for the oven. So there I'm showing they've been baking for a while, and you have to use 400 degrees on your oven. The oven has to be really hot. And this is one of the loaves that I had done earlier. That is how the brown bread looks inside, and this is how the white looks inside. Looks a bit dull here, but it was really white. And here I'm just showing the slicing and the buttering. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you try making your loaf. And please like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye bye.